Good morning, guitar players. Welcome to my weekly Facebook Live event. I do this every Thursday morning, 9:45 a.m. CDT. Right here, we just do a few minutes, a short little bite-sized mini guitar lesson on whatever we feel like talking about. Today, we're going to talk about a really important way to mute an unwanted note. So we'll talk about that in a second. But first, I just am really in the afterglow of this wonderful Zoom class we did last night. Sorry you missed it if you missed it, but you don't have to miss future Zoom classes, which I do once a month typically. You're going to want to make sure that you are signed up to my free monthly newsletter. So in the description, there's a link for you to sign up for that. Only comes once a month, not a big deal, but tells you about classes I'm doing, has interviews and other fun, entertaining advice, whatever. So make sure you sign up for my free monthly newsletter. And of course, there's links to my website, my YouTube channel, and all of that. Our next Zoom class, which is September 23rd, is called The Art of Fingerpicking. So who doesn't need more of that? So pencil that in, and we've got a link to sign up. We would love to have you. Join us for the Art of Fingerpicking September 23rd. It's a Wednesday evening, a 90-minute class, and they'll just get a brain full of new guitar fun. So today what we're going to talk about, like I said, is a way to mute an unwanted note. Now, you know, we spend a whole lot of time, most of our time probably, thinking about, well, where are the good notes? What should I be playing? Trying to get the sound to come out of the guitar in the right way. Of course, that's important. We need good notes, but our good notes will sound better if we make sure that we're not hearing bad notes. So basically, what we're going to do is we're going to use our thumb to mute the sixth string when we don't want to hear it. So even if it feels a little weird at first, if you have never brought your thumb over the top of the guitar, like this, that might feel a little funny to you, but your thumb can do it. So it's really it's the most effective way to mute the sixth string when it shouldn't be heard. Okay, so we'll talk about, well, when is that? So first of all, let's talk about when do we want to hear the sixth string? When the bass note is on the sixth string. Let's think about that. Here's a G chord, my best friend, the G chord, and my bass note's right here on the sixth string. So, of course I want to hear the sixth string. I need to hear the sixth string. So, obviously I'm not going to mute it. There's my bass note, I need it. So the G chord, anytime my bass note is on the sixth string, that's the most important note I'm playing, okay? This, and E minor rather, and E over G sharp, D over F sharp, whenever I got my bass note on my sixth string, of course I want it. Any other time, I do not want to hear the sixth string. So let's look at some examples there. On a C chord, of course there's a couple different ways to play that, but let's just take my familiar friend, the C chord. My bass note's on the fifth string. And the rule about bass notes is, well, first of all, that we should be obsessed with them because it's the most important note in the chord, is your bass note. But the other thing to understand is that we want that bass note to be the lowest note we hear. So if my bass note's on the fifth string, do I want to hear the sixth string? No, I do not. So what you might say is, well, Ellen, I just try not to hit the sixth string. I aim away from it. I play the fifth string, and I just try not to hit the sixth string. Okay, here's my question. How well does that work? Probably not that well. Maybe sometimes you get lucky. Maybe sometimes you can be that accurate with your pick and your strumming hand. But a whole lot of the time, it's actually hard to aim that carefully. So it's a better plan to take the thumb of the left hand, bring it over the top of the guitar, and lightly touch the sixth string. That's critical right there. If you press down with your thumb, you're going to make a note, and you're probably going to hate it because it's probably going to be a bad note. And the whole reason we're doing this is to not hear anything from the sixth string. So we want to very lightly touch the sixth string with our thumb just to neutralize it. Okay, so remember, don't press. Oh my God, that was the worst thing ever. See, I told you don't press down with your thumb. It's kind of hard to do because frankly we're pressing down really hard with our fingers, of course, to get a sound from our chord, but we have to differentiate what the thumb is doing and just do a really light touch. Just the merest touch will keep it from vibrating. Now, you might go, well, you know, my brain is full with all the other things I'm doing. I don't know, it seems like it's sort of a pain in the neck to do that. And I'm like, okay, maybe, but if you train yourself to do this, you get a big payoff. First of all, your playing sounds better because you don't have that annoying sixth string in there when it doesn't belong in there. The other thing is it will set you free in the right hand. So you can go. Didn't that sound good? As opposed to, for example, when I'm on my D chord, if you don't mute that sixth string and you're kind of going a little cray-cray with your strumming in the right hand, instead of sounding like this, which is what you want, it might sound like, it's like, who the hell is that guy? Who invited him to this party? Well, he's just invited himself because it's hard not to hit, especially if you're doing like a, it's like, I hate that guy. So if I bring my thumb over and mute it, that instantly makes the bad note stop. So the takeaway is this. Train your thumb to live right here, muting the sixth string, unless your bass note's on the sixth string. So this is kind of your default position. Have your thumb over here, and then if you're playing a G chord, you don't need that thumb, or this, or an F, or an E minor, or something like that. So it's just a good habit to get into. You'll be glad you did. So check out my Zoom class on September 23rd. We would love to have you. These Zoom classes are just so much fun and good way to learn some things. You know, it's a good way to learn something new and try out some things maybe that you haven't done before, but you can mute yourself so nobody hears you. So there's kind of no downside to trying something that maybe you've been intimidated until now. So we'd love to have you. It's a lot of fun. There's information in the description. And I hope I see you next Thursday morning, 9:45 CDT. And if you have any requests or suggestions for what you'd like me to talk about in my Thursday morning, 9:45 a.m. CDT Facebook Live mini guitar lesson, talk to me and give me your suggestions. Meanwhile, stay in the groove.